Hit record. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday, December 4th. My name is Jim Tanner. I want to welcome you to our event today. We're here to celebrate the Full Service Associate. This is our Solutions Circle Up for the week, and I'm excited to be here. When we do it this way, when we're starting the month and starting the week at the same time, I get really excited. And we had a great November. We finally put November to rest. We said, okay, November, we're done with you. We've done it. We've done all we can do with it. And now we're on to December, and now we are finishing. This is December represents the end of the fourth quarter and the end of the year. It also represents a point in time where people really start to talk about what they want and think about and imagine what they want for their lives and their businesses in the future. And I've been through this many, many times, this period of time where folks are contemplating what the potential for themselves. They already understand the potential of their Legal Shield business, but the potential of the Legal Shield business to impact and have transformational effects on their lives. And so that's what we're going to be talking about as we wrap up the year in these weekly events in December, both here and probably in every Zoom that we're all participating in, talking consistently about how to finish something strong, but finishing strong because instead of trying to start all of our 2024 goals and aspirations on January 1st, which is what a lot of people do. That's what's going to happen at the gym. Listen, I'm going to go to my gym on January 1st, and I won't be able to get anywhere near a machine, but I'm okay with that. I expect it. I know it's going to happen. But I'll just let you know that there's a group of people right now I'm seeing already, a much smaller, serious group of people that have fitness goals, health goals, that are already showing up. I'm seeing the crowd swell just slightly. Those are the people that are doing what I say we should do in our Legal Shield business, which is launch 2024 in December of 2023, push hard so that we are in a position to win big in 24 by not starting on day one in 2024. And that's all I wanted to talk about there. I'm going to get the heck out of the way. I've got a great event for you today. You're going to first be hearing from Mr. John Fehrenbach. Now, you know that name, John Fehrenbach, because number one, if you're looking at our full service associate leaderboard, then you are somebody who you're seeing his name, and you're probably measuring yourself against his results so far. Like, am I above him? Am I below him? Am I keeping up with him? That's John Fehrenbach out of Ohio. He's one of the top recruiters in the entire company. He is Ohio, where he lives. He's Ohio's top recruiter consistently. He might talk about this when he was new in the business because of his significant results quickly. He had his name drawn to join us in Hawaii on the Hawaii trip. So he's had a lot going for him over the last couple of years. And he's our newest senior director, qualified in the month of November here in the company. So we're excited to hear from you for all of these reasons and everything else you're going to share. John Fehrenbach, thanks so much for being here with us. Take it away, sir.
Well, I guess it's afternoon where I'm at. Good morning, late morning to everybody else who's not on the Eastern Standard Time. Jim, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Jim asked me to share a little bit of my Legal Shield journey thus far. It hasn't been tremendously long. It's about a little over 2.5 years. But I've had some, as with any business, some ups and downs that I thought I would share, and maybe some of the lessons that come out of those ups and downs. And I kind of have to start at the beginning, and that a little over 2 years ago when I started getting involved with some recruiting and showing some results in recruiting, and the company came up with this wonderful team challenge, and I was asked to be on part of a team. And in January and February and March of 2022, that team literally won over every other team in all of Legal Shield, that recruiting contest. Of course, we were on top of the world. I got in a little bit late to be part of any kind of performance club trips or anything like that, but I got a bonus. There was just all kinds of neat things, and probably the neatest of all of that was that they announced our team's name, and we got to stand on stage as the number one recruiting team, and again, in all of Legal Shield. And what else was neat about that particular convention in Oklahoma was that I had done so much recruiting that my name was put into this jar. I'm sure it was a huge jar, but it was in there so many times that they ended up pulling my name to go to Hawaii, which was the Performance Club trip, where if you're not aware, they pay for all your expenses, travel included, and they treat us in a first class way, and all those expenses are paid. So that certainly the highlight of that first partial year. I was sitting on what I call the top of the Legal Shield joy chart, if you will. Following that, now the downside, if you will, my folks that I had recruited through those first few months started to quit in droves. I think they all got together and had a meeting. My retention plummeted. My commission dollars were in a negative. Remember, they pay us 12 months in advance, so I was paid for stuff in advance, and then that gets taken away because the folks don't continue to pay for their plans. So my commission balances were in a negative, and I was just any leaderboards that I was a part of at that point in time, because my retention was low and so on and so forth, were virtually eliminated. No Performance Club checks, and just so you know, I am I'm already Performance Club qualified for December, and this will be my 24th month Performance Club qualified. So I wouldn't receive any Performance Club checks or anything like that because of where my retention was at. Bonuses and incentives were off the table because, again, my retention was where it was at. Now, I'm not telling you that to make you feel sorry for me. Why I'm telling you that is because I had faced a personal decision. Was this something that I wanted to continue? Could I see my way out of where I had gotten myself to? Obviously, I'm a pretty good recruiter. Again, I recruited 30 plus people in those 3 months. Excuse me. So I knew I could do that, but was that enough? Was that enough to get me back to a place where I felt that that success I felt in those first 3-4 months I was with Legal Shield, and to what end? If I kept going, to what end? Where was I going to go? So I literally reached out to the folks that I respected. My sponsor was Jim Feletra, a man of, at that time, was 19 years plus of experience, Mr. Jim Tanner. I reached out to Mr. Riches, who has 30 years plus experience, and basically, laid all my cards on the table and said, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I have no idea if I can dig myself out of this particular, what I considered a particular hole. And all three of them basically told me the same thing, that I can get my retention back to over 65%. I can get my commission so that I'll start seeing a commission check out of the business. Could they predict how soon? Well, honestly, it depended on me. It depended on, my overall stamina and just, putting my head down and going and do it. But they told me that I could do it. And I would start to see PC checks again. So at the end of the day, it was my choice. What do you want to do, John? Do you like the business? Do you like the products? And Mr. Tanner always talks about, we all know what the products can do, but when it goes from your head to your heart is when the real starts to happen. And those products had gone to my heart. I've seen what they had done for the couple times that I've used them. I saw what they've done for my kids, and so the products they do lie in my heart. And I believe, as I think a lot of us do here, that everybody in the whole world should have Legal Shield and ID Shield out there protecting and helping us. So I did. I chose to put my head down, not get distracted. And what distractions could there be? Well, every month that I didn't get a PC check, that could be a distraction. Every month I didn't show up on a leaderboard because my retention was where it was at is a distraction, because I pay attention to leaderboards. I think when when I say that, I don't think that you should be so um, consumed by the leaderboards that it prevents you from moving ahead. But I do pay attention to that. I like showing up on those. And it's just for my own. It's I guess the best way for me to say that is, for me, they're mile markers. Okay. When you start showing up on leaderboards, those are mile markers, meaning that I'm heading down the right road. And as Jim had mentioned, I just, for the first time ever, hit senior director. And that's a mile marker for me. It's not a place to stop, it's not a place to linger. It's a mile marker looking forward towards executive director and bronze and gold and platinum executive director. So those are all mile markers going down the road. So, anyways, I decided to put my head down, decided to focus on doing what I did best, which is recruiting, and focusing on recruiting the kind of person that um, well, I was looking for people like me. Sometimes I can be hard to work with, which I'm finding out recruiting people like me. No, I'm kidding. I was looking for people that wanted to be successful. I took to heart the words of Dave Savula. There's three keys to this business, which is recruit, recruit, recruit. Um, I took to heart Brian Carruthers' words: "Some will, some won't. So what?" And I just kept my head down and kept on going. And I just became determined and decided that I was going to be the type of leader who I would want to follow. At the end of the day, I believe that I am that type of a leader. I think that I'm trying to, emote and draw people towards me that want to be that type of a leader. I'm certainly at this point, and this is now 2 years later, just about, if you think about it. And it took me from the time I made the decision to do what to stay with this business, keep working the business, get my retention back to where it needed to be, get my commission checks to be coming in. Now the commission checks started coming in before I was actually seeing PC checks, because retention takes a little bit longer. But I'll see. This will be month number 3. Excuse me. Yeah, month number 3 of Performance Club checks, and this will be my 24th month of being Performance Club qualified. So, as you can see, it ends up being it's a marathon. All right. When they come out with a contest, that's not the time to decide that you're going to jump in and be a part of that contest. As the contests come out, the what you've done up to that point, all the seeds that you've planted, um, the watering, the fertilizing of your garden, which I consider to be my team and my future teammates. That all starts to come into fruition and starts to where those crops are growing and you can actually harvest. And if they throw in a contest, you just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll find that you'll be a part of those contests. Jim mentioned that I'm on the leaderboard for the full service associates, and I've been sitting at number 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 8, 9. So it depends on the particular week, but I've been sitting at the top of that. I just didn't decide to make that happen. It's because of the actions that I've been doing for the past year that I'm sitting at the top of those leaderboards, and that I'm just going to continue doing those same actions. Some people say, well, aren't you going to, because you're, in these contests, don't you, raise what you're doing? Honestly, I don't. I'm on a train. You think about it, of a locomotive, and I got that locomotive moving down the tracks, and it has a certain amount of momentum to it. And, yeah, sometimes I throw a little bit more coal in the fire. Sometimes I take a little bit of coal out. But that momentum, that I strive to maintain that momentum to keep me going down the tracks. And as I see those mile markers I see them. I said, yay, I made it to that mile marker. I don't stop. The train doesn't stop. I keep that momentum going and continually, strive to be better at what I do, strive to help my team be better at what they do. And I am. I'm looking for people that want to run with me. If they want to run with me, I'm certainly there to, help and guide and teach, everything that I know. And obviously, with only 2 years experience, I still consider myself a baby in this business. I turned them over to Mr. Jim Tanner, Mr. Mark Riches, Mr. Mike Riches. I get them to people who have way more experience than I do in this to help them, do whatever it is that they need to do. Maybe it's, overcome a hump or a bump in the road as I've had to over the past year. Or they just need help, opening up a group, or need help talking to a new recruit, whatever it might be. I help point them into those directions. My team continually inspires me personally. I watch them grow in this business. I watch them, go over the same humps that I had to go over. Because there's a lot of mental to this business where you just have to push forward. You're going to hear some negatives. You're going to hear people who've been involved in this business for a number of years that all of a sudden turn in a negative direction for whatever the reasons are. I'm not going to try and figure that out. But my point to that is that just keeping the blinders on and keeping that negativity away from you and out of your life is probably the best suggestion I could give anybody on this call. I actually sat at the last international convention in Charlotte, and I knew where I stood with recruits. I knew where I stood with a lot of things because, again, I pay attention to the leaderboards. And yet, I never left the audience. I wasn't called up on stage. None of that happened to me because of where I was at, and I was okay with that. Yeah, I was kind of okay with that. I understood why I was sitting in the audience and not on stage. And the thing is that the goal was not necessarily to be on stage, but to bring my business back up to a point where it was being successful and that things were going in the right direction. And I truly, at this point, because of the mile markers that I've seen, I'm number 2 on at least the last update of the recruit board. I'm number 2 overall recruiting in the company. Again, I'm number 10 on the full associate service board. And the biggest mile marker that I'm absolutely am enjoying seeing that one come is the senior director. And I can tell you mentally, senior director is great. The goal at minimum, is to get to that ED point and keep pushing from there. But again, it's a mile marker that I could see. Last month, I was $100 or so short of it. And I wasn't disappointed with that because guess what? I was $100 short of it. This month, as I saw it coming, and I'm going, well, and I had told Mr. Tanner last month when I was that short, I wasn't prepared for that. This month, as I saw that number coming up for me, I was prepared and I had a lot of things in place mentally, physically that helped me get past that senior director mark. And pretty thrilled that we did that. Now the job is to sustain it. At the end of the day, I guess what I want to say to everybody here is that, no matter what your humps and bumps are in your road, no matter what, pulls you in a different direction of having a successful business, know where you're at, pay attention to the mile markers, shoot for the stars, and know the mile markers along the way to get to those stars. And eventually someday you'll be there. You'll be there. And, I know that I'm going to Jamaica in the spring, and I would love to walk those beaches with you. Jim, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you.
John, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Just great information. And I'll just add some context because I've got that 3,000 miles up in the air looking down on it view, which is that you've done such a great job. You continue to recruit, and as you said, you made some adjustments about who who do you want to work with? So you recruit the people that fall into that ideal of who you want to work with, which is great. We all get to do that. But then also, I think the real celebration is how plugged in that group of people is to what's going on, that they're committed, that you've got more people in Performance Club than ever before. So now as a senior director and above, you're also in a position to start capturing $200 matching bonuses as you're helping your team members get that $200 Performance Club check. The company's going to say, listen, we know that that this is happening because of leadership. And as a leader, we're going to give you $200 bonus on that as well. Isn't that amazing? I mean, just all of this fitting together, and it all does truly fit together. Why is John Fehrenbach having success? Because people are getting into production in his team. They're joining his team, and then they're joining the mission and the movement of bringing equal access to equal justice to every corner of their community. They didn't just sign up to sign up. They didn't just sign up to get a polo with a logo on it. They signed up to change things. And they understand that now more than ever, thanks to you and your leadership, John. So we appreciate you very much. Just in the next couple of minutes that we have, I want to make sure that everybody's informed about what the opportunities you have coming up here during the week and here in the month of December. And I can't think of anybody better to deliver that information to you than our Vice President of Sales Training for Business Solutions, $300,000 ring earner and Millionaire Club member, Mr. Mike Riches. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Tanner, thank you. And Mr. Fehrenbach, excellent job this morning. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective and for sharing your thoughts. I have a world of respect for you, sir, and congratulations to you on the success that you have had. And I know you feel like you're just getting started as well. And that's how all of us feel right now, which is such an exciting thing. Guys, we do have some great events coming up this week. I want to give you a little bit of a heads up. I don't know that we've made all of this officially public yet, but I'll share with you some of the plans for next year. So there is a new training that is in development and almost finished with development right now. That will be a training that will be taking place live in person throughout the country. We'll have a team of trainers that will train this, and I'm excited for it. It'll be our small business, small group certification class. Now, if you call the home office and ask them about any of this right now, they're going to say, what are you talking about? Because we haven't officially announced any of this yet, but I'm letting you know that will be really like a true level 1 approach. We'll continue to do our full employee benefit certification trainings, although it will look very different after the first of the year, because some of the things that we're teaching in that class are going to be in that small business, small group training. And so we'll have that full certification class after the first of the year. Those will continue to be available via Zoom a couple times a month, just like they are now. What we will not have are the level 1s in their current iteration. So the class that Marty Galano is teaching, which, by the way, I just think is a fantastic class. It's just that with this new class, there's not a need for both. And so I say all that to say this Friday is really the last chance for the foreseeable future to be able to take part in that fundamentals of business solutions training that Marty teaches. And just again, I think that it is a phenomenal class. I think that especially for someone getting started in this company, it is a wonderful introduction to business solutions, the way, to learn the way that we do things in business solutions. And so I would encourage you, anytime that you could spend a few hours with a guy making almost $500,000 a year doing what you do, that's probably a good thing to do. But I would encourage you to take advantage, encourage your teams to take advantage of that. This Friday, we've got our final fundamentals class, again, for the foreseeable future. So take advantage of that. Of course, we have our Blitz tomorrow, so we always welcome you to be a part of our Blitz. We have our Expo also coming up next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but a week from this Wednesday on the 13th. And I am super excited for that. We've got $300,000 ring earner, Mr. Jimmy Parrish. I'm looking at Jim and talking about Jimmy. Jimmy Parrish. And then we also have Platinum Executive Director, Miss Stephanie Moore. They are teaming up to do a training And I'm super excited for that on our expo. Again, that's 4 p.m. on the 13th. And that website is LegalShieldExpo.com. All of the certification classes are at LegalShieldTraining.com. Just scroll down to the 400 classes. So, Jim, thanks for giving me a few minutes to just share some of these upcoming events. I know we're closing out the year. I am super excited for everything that is coming in 2024. It is going to be a fantastic new chapter of business solutions training, and I'm just ecstatic for it. But with that, my friend, I will turn it back over to you.
Mr. Mike Riches, thank you very much for being with us today. Appreciate you, buddy. And as we wrap up, listen, we got about 4 minutes together left. I want to talk about, you know, you've heard me say a million times, success leaves clues, right? Like I could have made that a quiz right now. You would have all got 100% on it. Success leaves what? Clues. Success leaves clues. And for a half century minus about 3 years, for a half century minus about 3 years, we met in person as often as possible. We trained together. We laughed and shared together. We broke bread together, and we grew this company together. Then during COVID, we had no choice but to do something different with exclusively this type of training. We're so grateful for Zoom during that period of time. And of course, the types of group phone calls that we would always have. You know, we'd have the calls, then we moved to Zoom. So we had these opportunities to stay connected, and the training that we can get is great training. But there's nothing more immersive than being in the room. And Sonora Danzler, that's kind of her thing, right? She wants to implore you to be in the room. So when you hear about events that are happening on Zoom, my advice to you, the clue I would give you is put that on your calendar and have no reason in the world that you'd miss a national or an international training that you can do from anywhere, from the device in your back pocket. You can participate in that. But don't let that, which is the minimum way that you can be involved in our business, the minimum way you can be trained and inspired in our business, don't let the minimum become the maximum. And the maximum way is to be in the rooms under one roof, regionally, and of course, once a year internationally together at our convention. Those opportunities are happening as well. In 2023, as we're wrapping up this year, there certainly was some trepidation coming into the year. There was some fits and starts. There was some gas pedal and brake pedal when it came to live events. But as we move into 2024, I can assure you that events like what Mike Rich has just talked about, this in-person training, immersive training, where you're in the same room with the trainer, is going to continue to be a theme that you're going to see radiating across the map. The Super Saturday events, when I went out in October of 2022 and did my first Super Saturday since the COVID pandemic shut off all of the live events, I was in a room with a handful of associates. And it was great to be back in a room. Some of you have seen the videos from Virginia Beach. You know, there's a few of us there. It was great to be back in a room together. But as the months have gone on, as I've gone from town to town, from city to city across the US and Canada, you can see that we've been growing back to the numbers that you'd expected a Super Saturday event. As a matter of fact, just so I don't forget, I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd love to see you in Phoenix. For those of you in that market, that's New Mexico, Arizona, parts of Texas. Come on in to Phoenix this Saturday for the Super Saturday. I'm going to be there with you. And if you're not there, then who do you know that does know someone in Phoenix? Get them there so I can help them see the whole story of our business. I'm going to train them. We're going to have a blast. But those events are happening across the map. Super Saturday events, regional training events. You're going to hear even more. We've touched on the fact that Melissa Peters is going out on tour, and in January that tour begins with her guest on that tour as well, Mr. Darnell Self, and the two of them will be speaking in Tacoma, Washington. I'm going to be at that event as well. So these events are continuing to happen. You're going to see more and more opportunities for yourself to plug in where you live, and for you to plug your team in wherever they live across the map. It's going to be an absolute blast. Hang on to your pants. If you love to get trained, honed, if you like to increase your skills, if you want to become a master at something, this is something that's certainly worth mastering. Because while what we do is not complicated, the skills we use are important skills. The skills of inviting and presenting, the skills of being able to have conversations and create opportunities, the skills to talk to business owners and then to go and enroll their employees. We want you to have the best of all of those skills in place as you go into 24, ready, willing, and able to take every opportunity that exists. You're going to hear about more incentive programs than ever before in 2024. I mean, exciting incentives, trips all over the world, of course, cash bonuses of thousands, of tens of thousands, and even $100,000 or more. All of this is still coming in to be announced. We want to make sure that you're a part of it. It's 12:30 Eastern time. I'm going to say goodbye, but I just want to remind you that it's the beginning of the week. It's the beginning of the month. It's the end of the Zoom, but it's the beginning of everything else. So we're going to say goodbye here, and then we're going to get to the work that we do, because the work that we do matters, and it's important, noble work. And there are business owners today that don't know what they're going to do or where they can turn, and they don't know what you and I know, that Legal Shield can help them. There are consumers, there are individuals, our friends and family, people at our church, the next two people that pass us in the street, wondering what they're going to do, how they're going to get their will done, how they're going to stop getting pushed around and bullied, how their kids are going to get what they're supposed to get at school, how they're going to live their lives more worry-free in an environment where they don't know Legal Shield exists, but we do. We can't let this secret remain a secret. Secret has to get out. And I'm so grateful that you and I get to go and share this good news together. Thanks so much to Mr. Mike Riches and John Fehrenbach, and to all of you for plugging in. Let's go get them. Have a great day, everybody.